Hello, everyone, and welcome to another
Hello.
episode of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. This is episode 23, recorded on March 30th, 2025, to get posted on podcast services around the globe on Tuesday, April 1st. April Fool's Day, but this episode is not April fooling you. It's a real episode coming straight to you.
God,
I hate
made
It'll-
that so weird.
It'll post to all the usual spots: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and YouTube.
Dude.
I'm one of your hosts, Grayson Maxwell. Joining me as I do every day, I forgot my name for 1 second, are my co-hosts Roger Stillion and Chris Boughan.
Did you call
How are
yourself
you guys?
Greg?
Yeah. What's up,
Are
Greg?
you Greg now?
I may have. I don't know. I'm not.
I'm
in
gonna
the
date
great-
myself,
in the
but
great
you
headspace,
guys
yeah.
know who old Greg is?
So
Greg.
my wife's dad's name is Greg,
Oh.
and all the time I call him Gregorio because I think he hates it.
I had
Oh,
a friend called Greg. We used to call him Gregor.
Greg, yeah,
Gregor.
It's so terrible.
Shout out to all the Gregs out there. Shout out to all the Gregs, you know.
Greg.
Now wait, would
If
you
your
be a
name's Greg-
Greg with one G or two G's?
That guy's
like
two
no
Gs.
Gregory,
That
just Greg with two
that
G's.
guy's got two G's on his Greg.
Actually, he's
100%.
Jeff with a G. G
Yeah.
O
Geoff. Oh,
Oh my God!
Also,
you very much
already-
look like a G off.
Geoff. By the way, no shade to our G-offs out there. We love you too.
mad love the G off.
Shout out to all the G-offs as well.
This is the
All right.
weirdest
Oh,
fucking
this is a
intro
weird
we've
intro. Let's
ever
go.
What's going on, guys? How
You better
how are
start
you
this
week?
show. This
Nope,
is going
nope.
off the rails quick.
We're rolling with it. We're rolling with
All
it.
right,
How are you
Oh,
guys?
listen,
this week?
I like we don't edit, so
Nope.
like if this
I
got
mean, we
said,
do
you
a
heard
little
it.
bit. What's going on this week, guys?
What's going on this week?
Not much. It's good.
We're going into April of 2025. I still can't wrap my
Yeah.
head around that it's April of 2025.
Yep.
My goodness, man. Time just, where does it go? Where does it go?
Yeah, I remember this time about 5 years ago. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that was fucking 5 years ago.
The dark times.
Yeah,
say
we're
dark.
finally out of it.
I say
Best years of my
the
life.
best time I ever had at my job. That's for
You
sure.
know what?
No.
I shared that
It
employment,
was
so I
fucking
agree.
Awesome.
Yeah, good times.
Oh, wait. This is like 5 years ago. This is like 2 weeks into lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Yeah. I forgot about that. Happened in March, the middle of March 2020, because
Like, isn't it right now
Onward.
like when everybody get introduced to Tiger King?
Yeah, Tiger King. Yeah.
number
Tiger
one for
King.
17 consecutive days on, which has never really happened before on
Netflix.
Netflix.
You know,
Yeah.
Tiger King was the April Fool's joke that kept on giving.
It was
What-
just
That's
incredible,
what a
incredible
lightning
thing.
what a lightning in a bottle that was.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. I couldn't look away, and I just watched it again recently, season 1,
you
and like I
didn't. Don't-
couldn't
would
look
you?
away because I love Tiger King, and season 2 just wasn't what I
It's
was
not
hoping
there,
it was
man.
gonna
It's
be.
just not
Yeah,
there.
it's just-
Yeah.
there's no more story to tell, and they knew that, but they needed to get something
Oh,
out
they-
of it. But
They tried to milk that thing dry for sure.
He's still waiting for his pardon, by the way.
I bet he is. Someone forgot to tell Biden.
yeah. So something I haven't talked about in a bit is I live in a fairly populated area, the greater Los Angeles area. Couple tens of people here. I've been doing these like screen the unseens and stuff like that AMC does on some Monday nights, and so
What?
I've seen 2 movies that.
Hold on. What is it? Was
Well,
it just
screen-
like blind screening?
I think it's called Screen the Unseen. It might be there, Seen the Unseen. I don't know, something like that. But it's something AMC does specifically, and it's like, for instance, you guys remember I saw Gladiator 2 like a week and a half before you guys did.
So it is a
because of
blind
that.
screen. Okay. I just wanted to, yeah, okay.
Well,
So like you don't know what it is, right?
No, they give you the rating and they give you the time. They don't give you anything else. But like if I go the day of, about the middle of the day, I can go on Reddit and like, because people in New York are already posting what it was, like I can see what it is. But so I've seen a couple movies like that. I saw My Dead Friend Zoe like that, which is an
Okay.
incredibly emotional
Shout out
film.
to Zoe.
Yeah, shout out to all the Zoes out there.
The dead Zoes? Or just
all right.
wait,
All
live?
right.
I
Anyway,
need listen.
Anyway, you saw a movie.
You started this.
I did. So and I've seen, and then the last one I saw was Bob Trevino Likes It. Do you guys remember the trailer with John Leguizamo and
I do,
the
yeah, I
girl?
remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen 2 very emotional movies like that, and what makes those movies special to me is I'm out here is like I'm reconnecting to those roots of movies that have like a scrap of the budget that a movie, for instance, I haven't seen The Electric State yet, but it's over 300 million, and I've heard it's without a doubt the worst movie of the year so far.
Perfect.
So they have for instance, I just did last week, I saw, or 2 weeks ago, Bob Trevino Likes It, and the lead and the second, or one of the co-leads, come out and they talk to people in the audience after it happened, and they said their budget was so low they almost didn't pay you for each week. They were struggling.
Jeez.
But the movie is great.
It's good.
It's emotional. There's a twist in the end that you don't quite see coming, and it just guts you. I shout out to those movies that I'd like to start talking about those on here.
Shout out to good movies. Is that what,
that's weird.
what we're doing?
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to good movies. Yeah,
I'm glad we're breaking real ground here on the movie podcast.
Indeed. Well, look, it didn't used to be like that. Like we're in a phase now where if you get a good movie, that's the fluke.
You do have to celebrate it,
which is funny because this is the only version, like the only phase of movie watching and like analyzing that I've ever known. So
yeah,
it's very strange.
Yeah, but I mean, well, I know that it's different for you because me and Grayson have been doing it a little bit longer, but like. You know how many bad movies we see compared to good movies.
100%. That's what I mean, though.
Works.
Like if the pendulum ever swings back to where like movies are more often better quality than not, quality, which I don't think will ever happen. Like I'll be ecstatic.
Look, I would just be happy to talk about good movies in back-to-back weeks. I'm not even talking like straight like 3 or 4 in a row. I mean like 2.
Well, we have some of those weeks coming up, but.
I fucking hope so. You say that, and I know what you mean. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
That's fair.
I could, but I also this week watched Elevation. You guys remember the movie?
I watched Elevation.
Did you?
Yeah, I watched Elevation.
Pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
No,
they don't explain. There are these locust things from Gears of War that come up out of the ground, and then they find out that one of the characters makes the realization that they are programmed. Programmed by who? By what?
Well, you say locusts. They're more like sentinels from the Matrix. They'll look almost exactly like them.
Oh, okay.
So
and they come up the ground, and for some reason they cannot go above 8,000 feet. That's why it's called elevation
or whatever.
And then the movie ends. The movie ends just as I think it's like really kind of picking up.
Well, yeah, when it finally starts to be good, it's over. Yeah, I watched it. I watched it a while ago.
It's just not great.
It's on like Max now.
It is Max.
It's short though, so if you do want to watch it, but
and it's Anthony Mackie. He starred and produced with Morena Baccarin, who completely steals the show from him every single time.
Who's way better than him.
But I think they put it out to get more attention on Captain America because he was the lead in Captain America.
I don't know what's going to help. So
no, it's just, what was the other Anthony Mackie movie that we've seen in the past that we've talked about? It was a Netflix movie or something. It had Mackie in it. He was like,
was it Altered Carbon?
No, he was the Ghost. Isn't he the star of the Ghost?
Oh, we have a ghost.
No.
Are you sure? No, he's in that.
He's in that movie.
He is in that. You're right.
He's in that movie.
No, he's in some weird sci-fi action movie too.
Yeah, I think it's called like Altered Carbon or something.
So that's a show.
Yeah.
That's a show.
Oh, is that
and that show is actually okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's something, but I remember not liking that.
Look it up.
Yeah, I got it. Because now
what blows my mind though about the Electric State is the Russo brothers did it. So I'm beginning to think that they are one-hit wonders with the Marvel universe.
So hold on. Let me bring something up with that. Okay.
You watch your mouth.
Fair.
Continue. Not you, him.
No, well, I almost had a rebuttal, but like here, I'll explain what I mean. Here
go ahead.
So the Russo brothers are who are tapped to do Avengers Doomsday.
Yep.
Yeah.
So much so, like there has been a little bit of concern because all the movies they have done recently outside of the main Marvel movies have flopped, like commercially and critically. And so,
but they know what they're doing with the MCU, though. I gotta give them that.
They do. They have done a good job with the movies that they have been a part of. But there are people who are just like, how does this keep happening? Because like, what was it? Remember 21 Bridges?
Awful. With
Boseman when he was like at the peak of his powers. Like this was coming off Black Panther.
His powers.
Yeah. Like when he was as star-filled as he could be.
Yeah.
Before he unfortunately went up and died on us, which is shitty.
Yeah.
But
he still has one of my favorite scenes in a movie ever made.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Yep.
The fucking movie's awesome.
God damn it!
That movie's awesome.
Anthony Mackie's movie that I remember was called Outside the Wire.
I don't think we
Did we
didn't watch
talk
that
about
one,
that?
did we?
We
I don't
have.
think we did.
Did we?
Grayson, we have.
Have we
Okay.
really? Okay, well, it's
Yeah.
very unforgettable.
I would have never
hold on.
watched it otherwise.
What's it about?
It's about
If I've seen this, I'll probably remember it.
in the near future, a drone pilot sent into a war zone finds himself paired with a top secret android officer on a mission to stop a nuclear attack. It ends in like some nuclear missile silo.
I have
Why
no
don't I
memory.
remember that?
I have
It's okay.
no memory
Listen,
of that
I
at
had to
all.
look it up to remember it. But
Was it a Netflix?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, of course, of course.
Oh, Jesus.
The only place Mac is
How
going
come
to
I
find
don't remember
success.
that?
That's weird. God, that's
Also
weird.
heard
I
he's a
don't remember.
dickhead. So
who, Anthony Mackie?
Mhm.
I've heard
Especially
that he is
recently.
he's an upstanding gentleman.
Mm.
I've heard what Chris heard, but I've also heard that lately he's been the not that.
Gotcha.
So I know someone I work with someone right now who did Civil War and did Winter Soldier,
Mhm.
and they say he was pretty excellent. He was very very nice in both
Mhm.
those. He was in both
Good.
those, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Mhm.
He was introduced in one of those. Yeah. But I mean, we've now talked a lot about Anthony
Yeah.
Mackie. I hope here's the thing about Mackie. The thing that like they missed in. The thing about Captain America, and I've done some thinking on this, is they've given us that was never meant to be anything more than a side character, and they've asked us to accept it as a main character. And that's what I guess where my problem is he also each of the Avengers, now you guys can probably do a better job explaining this than I can, but the Iron Man, the Thor, who's the other main one? Iron Man, Thor, and who's the third main Avenger that we did in the
Captain
films?
America?
Oh, Cap America. They all had questions. They all had like you could always break them down by the questions they were asking. Thor is, for example, was like, how do I bear this weight of my father's crown? And how do I grow up and lead my people? Iron Man's and Captain America are very similar, but like what question?
Captain America's like, I killed a lot of Nazis, and we just sort of just
No,
shuffle that under the rug.
Well,
Listen, hold on. Do you think who has a higher body count? Iron Man or Captain America, Chris Evans?
Are we including
Iron Man.
Are we including Tony Stark's weapons enterprises? That got
No,
stolen?
directly involved with.
Iron
Because
Man,
I mean,
definitely.
think about how many Nazis
it's
they
Captain
let Chris
America.
Evans,
Oh,
Captain
yeah.
America kill.
Oh,
Dude,
no,
I'm talking thousands.
Well, no, but the body count when Iron Man's flying around just pew, 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 shooting like just popping off those guys in the last two films, like it's
You look
to
like,
me,
you look
it's-
like, you look like the Danny DeVito meme. So I walked in, I just started blasting.
so anyway, I started blasting. Yeah. Great show, but excellent show, by the way.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I just don't. I don't know if because I get really pissed off, especially in the mind frame of Snow White, when like the American public is blamed for its not doing well. I'm starting to get a little pissed off by this because like you're starting to mask very, very, very shitty filmmaking and storytelling with telling the American people that they just need to accept it because that's what's coming. It's like that's kind of how Captain America was presented to us. It's how Snow White, for example. By the way, movie fell 70%. Its second week. A Disney live-action remake was topped by a rated R Jason Statham. Not saying anything about Jason Statham film, but that the amount of people that have access to both those films are vastly different. So that should never have happened. But I mean, that's wild to me, man. It's just wild. But we should get.
Well, I mean, like, look, their movie sucks. That's their fucking problem, not mine. Blame me. I don't care. I watched it. I paid you fucking money to see it.
Are the MCU films going to continue to suck? Because that's where I have a problem. It's like I don't.
Here's the thing. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, if they do, there won't be that many more.
True.
Well, they used to be $1 billion earners, and now they're just like 100 million-ish earners.
I think we get $1 billion win this summer. I think Fantastic Four will get us $1 billion.
We'll see.
What do you think about Thunderbolts? Real quick before we go into the show.
Less than that, but I bet you it's a good movie.
I see. And I'm the Marvel stan here, but no, I don't think Thunderbolts is going to be what we would like it to be, which is not bad. So we'll have to weather Thunderbolts, I think, to get to Fantastic Four, and then the other stuff that's coming down the pipe.
Well, just for the record, I'm pulling for Thunderbolts because they need a win that's not.
I want it to be good too, but I've seen the trailer.
Listen, as a Marvel rival, Bucky Main,
my man,
I fucking stand for Sebastian. Haha, get it?
All right.
I'm sorry, I do. What are you doing?
I'm breaking the studio.
Knocking.
By the way, I'm a cat main all the way, but
what?
I like having Bucky's on my
gross.
All right. And on that note, once again, folks, this is episode 23 of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are very lucky to talk about movies with you.
Dive comp.
Thank you. We have a good show for you this week. We are going to talk about some box office we've already yammered on now. We got a movie recommendation by yours truly. We're going to talk about a few trailers, then some Jason Statham movies, and then the movie of the week, which is A Working Man.
Some Jason Statham movies.
Which is some Jason Statham movies.
Well, look, it's a formula.
Grab random Jason Stathams and shove them together, you would get this movie.
It's a winning formula as far as I'm concerned, so why change it?
Yeah.
But that again,
Sure.
so was the Liam Neeson one for a long time, and it is not a winning formula.
It wasn't, right?
Yeah,
It was great. And then they
Indeed.
just kept doing it. Just kept holding that corpse.
All right.
Talk about box office.
Box office. Working Man number one, 15.2 million for the week.
That's number one with 15.
Oh my god!
But a worldwide of 30, so it's off to a good start worldwide. I'm really happy about that.
I'm more concerned about the number one movie was only $15 million made this week.
Number two, dropping 68%. Snow White, 14.2 million with its worldwide gross. And I'm angry at you people, especially overseas, 143. Come on, man. What are you doing? Number three, The Chosen, Last Supper, 11.5. So The Chosen is like a very, very niche Easter movie and was only domestic, and it did $3 million less than a live-action Disney remake of Snow White. Holy cow.
Good.
Number four, The Woman in the Yard. The Woman in the Yard, if you're from Boston, 9.5 million for a domestic total of 9.5 million.
I'll make you a deal. You can talk like that, but you have to do it for the rest of the show.
No, okay, deal off. Okay.
Don't do that.
Number five.
I'm all for accents, but you got to commit to them.
Death of a Unicorn, 5.8 million with a worldwide of 5.8. I think that's the one with the Scream Girl. Who's the Scream Girl? It's no longer in it. I forget her name. Ortega. Jenna Ortega. I'm actually going to watch that this week. I'm actually pretty excited.
You'll probably like it.
I don't know if that's a good comment or a bad one.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I
Trust
don't know
me,
what that means. But
he'll come back next week saying that he saw it and it was pretty good.
Number 6, Princess Mononoke in 4K. I'm really happy about that. That did quite well.
Doing movies in 4K now?
I'd watch it.
Captain America: Brave New World was beat out by Princess Mononoke in 4K. I'm okay with that. Number 8, Black Bag. Number 9, Mickey 17. Number 10, Novocaine, still hanging on for dear life.
Damn it.
Came and went, didn't it?
Yeah, but Chris, I'm telling you, you missed a good one there. You need to when it comes out for streaming.
You get a chance to watch Novocaine.
It'll be on streaming next week.
You're gonna fucking love it.
It definitely will be on streaming very, very shortly.
Yep.
All right, so this week movie recommendation. Of course, whenever a movie like this comes out, it makes me if you can watch the first 10 minutes of A Working Man and not immediately think of Taken, then you've not seen Taken, because Taken is excellent.
Are you burying the lead? Are you picking Taken?
I'm definitely picking Taken.
Okay,
yes.
there we go.
I would argue though that Taken is not even the best Taken movie.
Ooh.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly. What do you think is the best Taken movie, and what do you mean by Taken movie?
Taken 2 is better than Taken 1.
No shot. That's true. At least, look, my opinion is no shot. That's true. 2008, directed by Peter Morel, Liam Neeson, Maggie Grace, Leland Osser, Femke Jensen, a couple others. David Wachowski. This is a very simple premise movie. A woman's daughter is kidnapped. Her ex, played by Liam Neeson, Brian Mills, has a very special set of skills. And he finds her and he gets her back and brings her back. That's the pitch. It's a very simple pitch. But we get a lot of movies like this. However, I think part of the winning formula of Taken was the fact that the movie flows super well. It doesn't overstay its welcome.
It's not overly long, yeah.
And of course, an added bonus is Liam Neeson is good at what he does. Maybe, now that we're on Taken Part 21, maybe not so well anymore because it's kind of getting old.
Less good.
Definitely less good. But for what it's worth, I don't think many people watch Taken and walk away unhappy with the movie that they watched. Because I'd ask you what you're unhappy with. I'd ask you, you don't like the killing of bad men that are kidnapping and putting women into prostitution, slavery rings? What's your argument here? But I think the movie is pretty excellent. And I'm
actually for all of that.
That's a weird statement to make.
What?
Public.
What Roger just said? Yeah, I agree. Keep in mind that was Roger. Remember in Home Improvement, Al would always hold up the address to write to Tim in Tool Time. Anyway, yeah, I think if you don't like taking
Full-time?
the failings on your end, one of those movies, I'm willing to make that statement on that. If you didn't connect with it, then the problem's yours, not the movies, which is something I'm not going to say a lot because that's, being as subjective as films are, but hell of a movie that just flows and it flows and it flows. And we got a lot of Taken imitations recently after the success of that movie. We got 2 more Takens. I think there's another one on the way. I've heard a rumor that he's doing another one. So we'll see where that goes. But the formula does get tired after a while. But Taken, it wasn't quite tired yet. So
No, I mean the first Take is a pretty good movie, honestly. Like actually, I'd argue, and I know I said it as a joke, but like the first 2 are really well done. Like because the second one takes what happened in the first one and it kind of amplifies it, but not in like a corny sort of way. Like you could see like the natural progression in that movie. But then by the time you got to the third one and then all the subsequent, Liam Neeson movies, after that, it all kind of went sideways. Except though, it really brought Liam Neeson to the forefront for like that kind of like older action star kind of thing. One of my favorite movies that actually really isn't a Taken knockoff of his. Do you remember Snow Day? Or the cold, the one where he's a snowplow driver?
Yeah.
Cold Pursuit.
Cold Pursuit.
Yeah.
I fucking love that one, man. That movie is great.
Snow Day's a different movie with
Yes,
like,
Snow Day's a very
against the other snowplow.
I got really confused.
There is far less murder in that movie.
Well, when you
Far,
when
far
you said that, I'm like, you said you could see my face. I'm sure, like, what the hell is he? How is he?
I knew as soon as it came out, I was like, that's not the name of that movie.
Snow Day.
No,
That's
but
not it. It's not it.
that was a good movie with no. Okay, I would take that back. I don't think it was a good movie. I think it was an interesting movie that had a lot of great action sequences that they just threw money at. Which kind of
Are you talking about Snow Day or Cold
No.
Pursuit?
Cold
Yes.
Pursuit. But it did have that awesome song in the trailer, the "Don't Fear the Reaper." Remember that one? That
Sure, yeah, of course. Yeah, some
that-
fucking Blue Oyster Cult, more cowbell, baby.
yeah.
That's a reference for the olds. like
Lawrence
myself.
Fishburne doesn't survive that film, does he? His character doesn't.
Not a whole
couple
lot
of
of people
them.
survive that movie.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, but it's all part of the Taken formula though. It's all just very simple, like formulaic. It just goes, and then it's over. Which is one of my biggest gripes with Working Man. It's really overstayed its welcome. It's about 20, 25 minutes too long. But
I would go so far as say it's about an hour and 51 minutes too long.
Whoa, I don't know about that. But let's.
Would you like to guess the runtime of Working Man?
It's like an hour and 52, 58 minutes, something like that.
I think it's like 151 on those, I think.
All right, let's talk about some trailers. Something we haven't done a lot of, but we are getting into that now. So let's.
Yeah, baby.
Yep.
It's trailer time.
I saw some good ones.
Trailer time. Here on Post Credits Podcast with Grayson, Roger, and Chris. Let's talk about some trailers, gentlemen. We want to
talk about first.
Trailers. Let's do them in order. Let's talk about Warfare. Now, Warfare is 2 weeks away. I'm very excited. A24, which A24 makes solid movies. I will give them. They have a very good success rate so far. Even last year's Civil War was excellent. I thought they've done a lot of really good work. So I expect nothing less than greatness from Warfare, especially who's in it and what's going on is like we have had a history with these. Black Hawk Down going back that far, Black Hawk Down, and then Zero Dark 30 won Best Picture or was nominated, or did it win?
Zero Dark 30 won Best Picture.
That was just a year or two after Hurt Locker, another one of those military shooters, more of a psychological thriller. But
which I just watched Hurt Locker again this week because I'm in the good Anthony Mackie movie.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make a comparison to Michael Bay's 13 Hours with Working Man a little bit later, but that's 13 Hours is one of those movies that I just the bro kind of formula with the very emotional music and the really the orange, the blues, the yellows and the color palette and like the desperate Alamo type defense of a few guys fighting off a whole city. Like that stuff gets me because I'm a big fan of the military service members that do excellent work around the world. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of heroism. I mean, some people might not have the same opinion. I understand that, but however you want to say it is like even there was heroism even among the ranks in the German army in World War II. I mean, it's heroism's heroism. So I love that. And that movie was chocked full of awesome stuff going on, and an amazing conversation on the roof about how soldiers can't just turn it off, and why can't they just go home? Well, they can't, because a soldier is a soldier, and you can't turn that off. Excellent conversation. The best thing in that movie by far. Best thing Bay did in years by far. But
sure.
Anyway, I want to make a link.
It's because he did a lot of dog shit. So.
And then he did Ambulance, which wasn't quite so bad.
Hey, Ambulance is a pretty decent flick.
Ambulance was fine.
Hey, look, that's when he discovered
drones.
Yeah, that's when he discovered drones. Like, they can be used to do things.
They get some good shots, though.
So, what do you guys give me your opinions on Warfare?
Look, I think Warfare looks pretty rad if you're into like that, second round of Iraq War kind of movie idea. He's like, look, coming off of Civil War, which, if you didn't like Civil War for the story, fine. I won't argue anything about that. But the way it is shot and the way that they make the actual war part of Civil War look is fucking awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it is down in the trenches, gritty, explosive, loud, dirty, smoky, everything. And like, look, if you watch this trailer, or any one of the trailers, because there are a couple of versions of a trailer going around for this guy, and like, it's going to be brutal. There's going to be some up close and personal stuff. You're going to see people get their heads popped off with sniper rifles. Like, look, it's coming. There's going to be extractions. There's going to be smoke. There's going to be buildings coming down, and that's what you're going to get. And when that kind of stuff is done well, it looks really, really good, and it can really translate to good storytelling.
Yeah,
because like, it feels legit. Like, it feels like they're in the middle of a hellstorm.
Yeah,
and when you can put that kind of stuff on film and have a reader be like, well, look, that whole scene only lasted 45 seconds. It was fucking horrible. Like, when you can put that into a trailer or put that into an actual movie scene and have it come out like that, that's incredible work. And, with the people they have in this movie, because like, there's some star power here too. Yeah. Like, I expect this movie to be good.
There's some young stars too. In this,
Will Poulter, I think, is a
old Adam Warlock showing up.
he's a super rising star, but he's in it. That's what initially drew my eyes, and the fact that Alex Garland is writing directing, and he doesn't have many missteps. So I'm all about Alex Garland stuff.
Yeah, I think he's going to be A24's boy for a while, which is cool. Good. I mean, good for him and good for them.
Yeah,
good for them. So. Chris, what about you? What do you think of this
guy? So I think this movie looks good. The trailer does do it. Does do a lot of good things for it. I think we said a couple weeks ago at some point, or someone mentioned, like, wondering what the next Black Hawk Down's going to be. And I don't know if this will be that level, but like if A24 is making it, it has the potential. So sure. I'm excited to see this. I think it looks like it's going to be it's constructed to be a good film, and I'm ready to watch it and be blown away by it. Is where I'm at. Like, I was kind of excited for it when the first the first trailer came out. When I watched the trailer that we watched this time around, dude, this thing
banger.
The things they added to this trailer doesn't spoil anything really for you, but it does add another layer of, okay, this is going to be an intense ride all the way, all the way through, which I'm ready for in a wartime piece. So.
Look, as an avid Call of Duty player, I'm surprised that there's not one person wearing a holiday jumpsuit or dressed like Santa Claus or Bruce Willis or somebody running around trying to stab me.
Yep.
Or the fucking Terminator recently.
This
very much a real thing right now.
This trailer doesn't really reveal much as far as story. We get clips in kind of some of the dialogue exchanges, which is very strong. However, it is a platoon of Navy SEALs embark on a dangerous mission in Ramadi, Iraq, with the chaos and brotherhood of war retold through their memories of the event. And it takes place in Navy SEALs. It does.
Am I wrong too that says this trailer says like you go with them in real time? So like, that's the actual clock is ticking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So which, like, I love those type of movies. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a cool thing to do. Be like, hey, look, this took place between this and this, and it's like a 3-hour window, and you're going to watch a whole movie that takes place inside that block.
Yeah,
I think that shit is awesome.
Yeah, agreed.
And like hard to really pull off.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can't be more excited for this one. I'm ready to be disappointed though, because I want this emotional Black Hawk Down. Battle Los Angeles. You're going along with these troops, and like the big music swells at the right moment. I know what you're gonna say. Yes,
You
it's one of my favorite.
You said Black Hawk Down, and then Battle Los Angeles.
Here's the thing about Battle Los Angeles.
I think Battle LA is a cool movie, not like Black Hawk Down.
Well, no. However, I would disagree. I think it's quite emotional. I think some of those parts in that film are incredibly emotional, and Aaron Eckhart really sells it. That's when I meet him. When he's like, "What's your favorite movie?" When I'm not Dark Knight, which every other person
you tell him
say.
Thank you for smoking, which is the correct answer.
Oh my god,
that movie is fucking awesome.
The movie is awesome, but I don't know.
Anyway, but
like smoking.
One thing that one thing that Battle Los Angeles does really well is it takes the military part of it seriously. It's
that's true.
They're very like everything is down to a T, and people have broken it down online. They're like everything they do is pretty 2014. That's how the military operated. The words they use, the phrases they use, everything is just that was very accurate, and I appreciate accuracy like that. And I'm hoping we get more of that in Warfare. I'm hoping it's less like revisiting stories through narration, and we see these things play out with the big action moments, with the big score that swells. I hope we get that, because you could easily tell the story in a way that doesn't give you that.
Look, I hope we get a long episode of Band of Brothers set in 2006 in Ramadi, Iraq. Because listen,
that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Also, watch Band of Brothers because that shit is awesome.
Band of Brothers continues to be one of the best produced miniseries of all time.
Yeah, of course. Still watch that every year.
Really,
every year on Memorial Day. Every year.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Everybody loves the good family. Get the family around to watch Band of Brothers. No one likes to do it but me because, it's fine.
You are a unique individual, Roger. I'll say that. Next, as we to continue our trailer tour on Post Credits Podcast, let's talk about Sinners.
Let's do that.
I think this is going to be a massive, massive hit. I'm hoping. You have some great star power with Ryan Coogler, who knows how to direct.
He does.
So and I like Michael B. Jordan. So like all the elements at play here I don't think that, you can't say like they're historically accurate because there's obviously some kind of supernatural things going on here, but I'm here for it. I think Sinners looks awesome.
This is a documentary filmed in real time. So I'm excited to see what's going on down south right now.
Much like the movie we just talked about, Warfare, takes place in real-time events. No, so the official synopsis for this movie, did you guys read what it says?
I'll read it right now. It's trying to leave their troubled lives behind. Twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. That's the IMDb description.
Okay, so this is set in like Jim Crow era time. Mm-hmm. Okay, and when you say greater evil, thinking that there's a lot of things that come into mind.
Yeah,
like in the South, like a lot of terrible stuff. Mm-hmm. Buddy, this is a vampire movie. Well, I'm pretty sure it's a vampire movie because they don't actually go out and say it.
Yeah.
But that's what this movie's about, which like that whole premise to me is to have a movie set in the late 20s, early 30s and have it be about vampires is just a wild idea. You guys remember the movie, which I thought was a neat idea but never really pulled off. Remember Cowboys and Aliens?
Yes, of course.
Like Daniel where Craig. The idea of it is like cool as hell. Mm-hmm. The movie's just not very good.
Yeah.
But like I think this movie might be good.
All right.
And I like the idea of taking something that, you don't really see like that kind of mashup of movies happen. Mm-hmm. I think it has the potential to be something good. And knowing that it's Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan together, mm-hmm. I mean, like, look,
they've done it before.
They've done some good stuff before, like several great things.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Michael B. Jordan is a powerhouse of a star. Coogler is a powerhouse director. It's also got actors people know, Jack O'Connell, Haley Steinfeld. It's got a number of people here that
one of my favorite actors of all time, Delroy Lindo. Love that guy.
It was great. I mean, he was in the 90s. Delroy Lindo. He was in the late 90s. He was in damn near everything, and I love to see him. Do
you remember him in Gone in 60 Seconds?
Oh, God,
when he just so good. And he just throws that guy in the pit.
Yep.
And he's like, well.
It's funny on IMDb, Haley Steinfeld is listed above Michael B. Jordan.
What?
She's the number one cast. And
is it because Mike has to play two people in this movie? Because he does.
I don't know, but yeah.
So
no,
he's playing twin brothers that are named Smoke and Stack, by the way, which fucking awesome.
Yeah. I also hope that you guys go a bit out of your comfort zone as far as where you live, and you really try to find the big, like the IMAX or the big D.
It is shot in IMAX, which is, I thought, an interesting choice for a movie to be shot in IMAX, but I guess, I guess we're gonna see.
I won't be doing that, but
okay, fair. I will definitely be doing that. I have Universal Studios, which they have awesome presentations, so I go up there to do that, but. I'm really psyched about that.
A little bit of a flex there, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
yeah. I got the Cinemark XD at Sellers Ridge. That's not even technically IMAX, but
I'm really excited for that. I'm excited for a couple weeks from now when we get to see that. Moving right along on the trailer tour of this episode 23 of Post Credits Podcast, let's talk about just one more. Let's talk about The Accountant 2 with old Benny Affleck. I'm a big fan of the first film. I haven't seen it in a while, but J.K. Simmons is back. We get to see the autistic accountant again go to work and do what he does best. I'm very excited for this one too. I'm beside myself excited for this one. All you Ben Affleck haters out there, and I was one of them at one point. I was one of you.
There's a lot of them right now. So,
however, 2007 that all changed. Gone Baby Gone, his directorial debut, that changed everything. That movie is far and away one of the best of the year. That movie's incredible, and he did it. So, and ever since then, it's like he just like a switch went on when he got away from Michael Bay and that present company from the early 2000s, late 90s. When he got away from all that, like he just on something like a light switch came on, and he understood how to do everything. So, I'm a big fan of Ben Affleck now. I wasn't always, but
Ben Affleck, you're the bomb in Phantoms, Joe. Remember that from Jay and Silent Bob? Also, that movie fucking sucks.
Yeah, Phantoms are pretty bad. Timothy O'Toole's in that, I think, right? Yeah, one of the O'Tooles.
Yep. But yeah, so like I'm more hooked, held up by the fact you called him Benny Affleck. Like,
don't do that.
Oh, Benny A. Yeah.
Definitely don't call him that.
It's funny. I used to think Matt Damon was the more talented of the two, but I can't say that's the same anymore.
What?
I can't. I cannot say that's the same. Ben Affleck is
wait, hold on. Are we saying that Ben Affleck is more talented than Matt Damon?
Yes, that's exactly what he just said.
That's what I'm saying. And Roger's not. To be clear, I'm saying
I am not saying that.
That's interesting. I'm not sure if I had to really think about it. I think I would lean Matt Damon over Ben Affleck, like just raw talent wise. I don't know. I haven't seen.
I mean, listen. I don't see old your boy Benny A being the lead in the next Chris Nolan Odyssey movie. I'm just saying.
I don't think he needs it.
No, you don't, huh? You think you're saying he's peaked? Peaked with the Accountant 2.
Ben Affleck has Gone Baby Gone. He directed Best Picture winner Argo. He was also in it. I think he's got enough accolades to his name to keep him occupied for some time. I don't think.
But did you forget about Good Will Hunting that they co-wrote and one of them starred in?
Well, he was in it too. They're both in it.
Sure.
What are you talking about?
Sure. But like that's Matt Damon's movie, bud.
It is. You're right. Okay. Oh yes, correct.
Yeah, which is leaning more to my point.
Also, I think have you ever watched Team America World Police?
Yeah.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, Damon. Nobody says Ben Affleck. Nobody does that.
All right, hold on. We are a podcast of three. We take it to a vote. Who's the who thinks that Matt Damon is the better actor out of the two?
Me.
I don't.
Oh, okay. See, I thought you were saying
no.
Affleck was better.
God,
okay.
no.
All right, I'm good now. I'm okay with.
All right, so let's talk about The Accountant.
I'm okay with Grayson being wrong. That's fine.
Who's the better director?
Okay.
That's a much more niche talent.
Good for old Benny A. You know what I mean? That's good for him.
But that's okay. So you can't say, "Oh no, Star Wars, the original trilogy is the best." Well, no, because the prequels and the sequels exist, so it's all part of the same lexicon of story. So you can't just. So, like I'm saying, like if you're talking about talent, don't you have to include what they've done off the screen and behind the camera? I mean, on the screen and behind camera.
I mean, if you want to say how many,
you say who's a better actor, you can't be like, well, he's a better director. No,
okay, well, fine.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't say that. We said who's more talented.
Who has the wider? Well, see, I thought from an acting perspective because he's acting in The Accountant too. But I see what you're saying. Wider skill set, maybe Affleck, but like pure acting chop, Matt Damon is probably
Matt
the guy.
Damon. All right, so what do you guys think of the Accountant 2 trailer? Now that we're back to it.
All right, so back to the Accountant 2. Like, look, I like the first Accountant movie.
Okay.
Like, it's
I can't honestly remember if I've ever seen The Accountant. I don't think I have.
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a decent action movie.
So,
But it's like he plays a character that's autistic, which, you know, for a lot of people at the time were just like, this is kind of like
new territory deal.
People were like really not comfortable with this. Then when he did it, everybody's like, okay.
Yeah.
Because like they take it a different direction where like he is clearly autistic or clearly on the spectrum, but like his skill set, like the stuff he's good at, he's really good at math and really good at forensic accounting. He's also really good with a sniper rifle.
Oh, right.
So yeah, it's some people like trains.
Some heroes don't wear capes.
That's that's it. And like, look, this just seems to be more of that, and that's fine because like they introduced John Bernthal as his brother in that movie, and like this is going to heavily feature him, which is also awesome.
I was far more interested in this trailer once Bernthal shows up in it.
Yeah, because like he's fucking rad.
He really is.
So
he's one of my favorite people.
Yeah, good dude.
Yeah,
like seems to be like the man.
He seems to be down to earth and like and I know a lot of people, but he's like someone that I would like to hang out with. You know what I mean? Like in actuality,
he could be your Andrew Garfield. It's nice. It's nice.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, deep cut indeed. Yeah, like so, like I become far more interested in this trailer once the whole cast is evident on who we're going to be following, like in a large way for this one. However, out of all three trailers we've talked about, which are good trailers, don't get me wrong, the last 7, 8, and 10 seconds of this trailer fucking rules.
Yeah, it's good.
When they're walking out of the house and they're firing whatever guns they've got, man, that is a cool ass moment in a trailer.
There's just something about walking down, just guns blazing. Yep. That's always cool.
Yep.
I also think the song choices. The song choice is interesting too. It's kind of like narrating what's going on too with the song. If you listen to the lyrics, it's really kind of an interesting choice for that trailer. But Chris, I really hope you catch up with the account. I'm going to catch up on this.
I might be able to,
2 weeks. So it's available on 2 or 3 of the platforms right now. So
it's on a couple of platforms,
pretty easily accessible. But
here's the thing: it probably won't be
once it
Accountant 2 launches. So just
of course.
Quick PSA today, which no one will know because this is going to come out on Tuesday. How to Train Your Dragon 1 and 2 are off all streaming platforms after tonight.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I got those.
If I could borrow your copy of the third one on Blu-ray, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Gift him on Blu-ray. Yeah. That's how he has it. Yeah.
Blu-ray.
Stop.
I have them all legally. I will say I have them all legally.
Hey, you over there, shut up.
Cool. So about the Accountant 2, though, like I expect this movie to make good money, even though it is going to be a hard R-rated movie. So like that's the kind of thing you get into with these is you never know what the cap is going to be financially for them.
Yeah.
Just because, part of your audience is always not able to see that movie, depending on where you live, I guess.
Yeah.
But
allegedly.
I expect it to make good money and to be a hit. Listen, critically I have no idea, but it's going to make a bunch of money.
Out of these 3, which one of these do you think makes the most money?
Accountant.
That's a good question. I don't know. Warfare could just do amazing money. People love their military shooters, man. They really do.
The problem with these 3 movies, and it's not a problem with them per se, it's a problem with their timing of release. Because it's basically movie, 2 weeks, movie, 2 weeks, movie.
Yeah.
So, like, even if one is doing gangbusters, the next one's coming to be like, hey, that audience you got there, that'd be a shame if I took a bunch of it.
Yeah.
That would be a real shame if I just slid in there and took a bunch of that. Because they are all 3 of them are rated R.
Yeah.
So they all share the same demographic. So
I mean they really do.
I think of all 3 of these movies are good.
And then everything dies on Thunderbolts.
True.
So
I think of all 3 of these movies are good movies, like about equal in like caliber of film. I mean, I know if one of these is great and the other 2 suck, that's going to definitely affect the way that how much money they make. But if they all come out, they're all deep, they're all pretty good movies in their own right. I think Sinners has the longest staying power. I think it actually ends up making it's rare that a kind of like a supernatural style movie makes a lot of money. they usually don't do that. But I think with who's involved
agree.
and the cast in Sinners, I think it has staying power.
Yeah.
If it's good, they'll keep it. They'll let it run and make money for as long as it's got.
You have an A-list actor and an A-list director doing a supernatural movie, which is something that you don't get a lot of.
Yeah.
So
good
call out on that.
But also, movies are shown in IMAX all the time, but they're not all shot exclusively with IMAX cameras.
True.
And Sinners is. So that's part of, I think, the staying power. People like seeing those that are still spectacles on those big ass screens that not every theater has.
And with limited IMAX shot movies, IMAX might keep it running for longer.
Exactly.
For that reason too.
I mean, Dune had a month of completely uncontested ground. It just did so much money on the. I mean, I saw it several times in the IMAX. I love that movie in IMAX. Holy cow! It's a very
only movie I've ever seen in IMAX.
It's a very different experience. But I'm really excited. Well, that wraps it up for the trailer tour here on Post Credits Podcast.
Yeah, all right.
Good stuff coming up. Really excited.
Hopefully,
hopefully
good. Hopefully good.
Well, in the weeks to come, we're looking forward to the next 4 months. What we're excited for. So the summer is stacked, and so is the fall. Like extremely stacked going into the winter. Yeah. So anyone's game.
This movie year feels a lot more like 2023 than 2024. So
I hope everything's better than 2024.
Yeah, 2024 was great.
Fucking be honest. Yeah. There's a lot of dog shit. It's still leaking into 2025.
Jesus.
God damn it.
You know that dog that's wiping its ass on the carpet and shit at the same time?
Please stop doing that, sir.
Yeah,
Speaking of dogs, I found several Dogman books, Chris's wife, that you should buy for Chris to read to your kids. He'll love it. I promise. Chris loves Dogman.
Sir, my kids love Dogman, and they already have most of the books.
Okay, fair. I found, for some reason, I was just out and about, and I just saw tons of books. I sent you guys one picture. I got 5 pictures of different Dogman books I just happened to come across in my travels.
I don't mind that they like Dogman. I don't like Dogman.
Well, you should force
Every
him to
generation needs RoboCop.
God,
that's right. That's right. They do.
My 7-year-old explained to me the synopsis and the synopsis of Dogman and told me about Dogman's inception the other day.
Did you show her RoboCop and be like, "Look, this is your movie, daughter"?
She's like, they don't die, but they get into this accident, and the nurse has a really good idea to sew the dog's head on top of the guy's body, and Greg's all for it. I'm like, oh my, who's Greg?
Greg, shout out to Greg.
Shout out to Greg.
Shout out to Greg.
In gross medical malpractice.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ! It was the nurse's idea. You know what I mean?
She's not the doctor.
Exactly. She did it.
There's clearly a reason she's not the fucking doctor.
Clearly.
Listen, I love nurses. Shout out to you. That's a bad nurse. Just saying.
Shout out to nurses too.
She saved 2 half-lives, so it made 1.
All right, gentlemen.
No. God damn it.
Let's move on to the movie of the week.
No. We're going to talk about some Jason Statham
crazy.
stuff.
Well, we are, but hold on a second. Hold on. Okay. We're going to the movie of the week, but before we do that,
there it is.
Okay.
Let's talk about Liam Neeson 2.0, Jason Statham. Let's talk about some of these that we get. And now here's a question I want to pose to you guys that you may have a different answer than I do. Because we know that Liam Neeson does the same thing, especially from Taken. We've gotten a dozen movies after Taken, and they're all the same. I didn't seem to care until they started becoming nigh unwatchable, which they have become. It's just they're bad enough that he's just, he's like, hey, 10 million and I'll do it. And he just only, whatever. But
I bet his agent says that more than he does.
Sure, fine.
He doesn't speak to these people.
Yeah.
I now having in the recent years Wrath of Man and Beekeeper and now this one. And I think there was another 1 or 2 in there somewhere. I actually don't care about the Jason Statham formula because he's found his sweet spot. The producers of the film found their sweet spot with him, and they keep making money, so he keeps having fun making them. I'm sure they're a blast. Stunt guys love these movies because it gives them tons of work. Prop bullet makers love these movies because it gives them tons of product. It does what a lot of movies should do too, but kind of in a niche area. But I'm a fan of movies like this. What I call now the Jason Statham formula films is just he has a very quick lead up of give him a reason to start whipping ass, and then he starts whipping ass. I'm okay with that. So
yeah, so the thing with the Jason Statham movie, and this isn't a knock on him or his main audience, because like legitimately I think I'm the main audience,
Yep.
yeah,
it's like they are never overly complicated stories, right? It's like Grayson said, there's very little lead up getting into fighting and killing people.
Yep.
The thing is like Jason Statham is good enough to where if you need a deeper story, he can do that. But he doesn't ever have to seem to do that,
Yeah.
right? Like, if you think of all the Jason Statham movies you've seen in the last 25 years, okay, which is pretty much encapsulates most of his career. Like, can you ever think of one where he really like acts a lot?
when was he Handsome Rob? Was that
Handsome Rob.
The Guy Ritchie movie?
Yeah,
No,
was
no,
that
no.
Rock and Roll? No.
No. That was the Italian Job.
Oh yeah, that movie stinks too.
Yeah.
It was a big movie for the time, but
So
sure.
Like, I know what you're saying, but like I don't know, like when we're saying Jason Statham, not Jason, Liam Neeson 2.0, I take offense to that.
Sure,
in a way,
it is offensive
because they're not the same actor with the same history, right? Like Statham's always been an action movie star.
always.
And kind of like to your point, Rod, or
Mhm.
like, you know, he hasn't really ever had to be a good actor because he kind of shows up, grunts and kicks people and gets paid a lot of money to do it on screen.
Yep.
Where like, you know, which is fine. That like we need those movies, you know what I mean? Like those movies need to and should exist. Liam Neeson, his acting history is way different, right? Whole different thing that, you know, at a certain point he kind of fell into the whole Taken formula, and it works. It's working now for him where he's at in his career, where Statham's always like this has been his thing, and he's good at it.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
No matter when you've seen a Jason Statham movie when he as him in the lead role, I guarantee you've never had a problem with Jason Statham's action in the movie. Like it just doesn't
never.
happen. The man,
No,
No,
never.
it always
Yeah.
looks pretty good.
the man is a machine, and he knows what he's doing in that regard, and never disappointed by how hard this man can kick other people in the chest.
Right.
Like it's just like he is just good at that. It's the things that surround that are always going to be the deciding factor in how much you enjoy.
Whether the movie's good or bad or not.
Yeah, like that's what's going to affect if you enjoy a Jason Statham, you know, movie. I think the opposite is true for mainly for like Liam Neeson and like and like the how all the movies now kind of feel like the same formula, whereas his ability to do the action isn't there anymore. So those movies are getting harder and harder to.
You can't really pull it off.
You can't suspend disbelief as easily. You can't just kind of like buy into the movie and its premise. The joke for the Liam Neeson side of things is in one of his more recent ones, there's like 21 cuts of him climbing and going over a fence. Because the man's not climbing a fence, but they needed that fence in the shot.
Yeah.
I think Statham is still going over that fence.
Yeah, he's still got it physically.
So like all that part of it's still believable, and that's what you need from the movies he's in. So I don't know, like I think like out of the Statham movies and all these style movies, like, you know, we talked about Beekeeper and Wrath of Man, you know, kind of like finding that niche and that wheel. There's other stuff happening. You know, there's other good movies in there that Statham has done, and like near the end of this, I have a question for you guys to kind of like drive that point home.
Well,
but like, what do you got?
I was going to go with a question, which
it might be
the similar question. So like, it's actually two questions, right? What is your favorite Jason Statham movie, and which one is the best?
That was my question.
Because
exactly.
Because like mine are different. Like I have an idea which is the best, and I have an idea what, you know, I know which mine is the favorite. Mm-hmm. So like,
is your favorite Crank?
Fucking right, it's Crank.
That is the right answer.
Yeah. So like, Crank rules. Okay. Crank 2 also rules. Different.
Well,
kind of...
I'm looking at his IMDb. So I said that between Wrath of Man and this, he's had a few. He's had like 7. Fast 9. Hold on, Fast 9. Operation
He's in several
Fortune.
Fast movies. Yeah,
but those aren't all his movies, though, right?
But
no,
Fast 10.
Shaw, though.
Fast 10, Meg 2, The Trench, Expendables 4, Beekeeper, and World of Tanks, Holiday Ops. It was a short that he was in. Of course, he's in that.
Perfect.
But
why not?
That was an advertisement for World of Tanks.
Okay. When was it?
Online,
yeah, you're right.
Game.
I do remember that. You're right. I
Yep.
saw that a couple times. And
Perfect.
so his name in Working Man is Levin Cade, which Roger
Yeah.
should be a direct
know.
link to you, Cade
I know.
Yeager. So which
I
name
know.
is worse, Cade Yeager or Levin Cade?
Oh, still Cade
Kate
Yeager.
Yeager.
But
Okay,
here,
fair.
listen, this one ranks though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it shows up.
like, look, somebody's in the ballpark here. But no, so
Fair.
like, all right, Grayson. So, what is your favorite Jason Statham movie?
I don't know. Maybe the original Transporter.
Excellent
So-
choice.
That is a good
Here's
choice.
because my original answer was Snatch, but that's not a Jason Statham. That's a movie that Jason
So-
Statham is in.
Sure, and but here's the thing: if you would have said that, I totally get that. I mean, because
Mhm.
like, look, the one thing Jason Statham is very good at when there is an ensemble cast, he is good with that.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right.
he's okay not being the guy. You know what I mean? Like he's okay being part of a team, which
Mhm.
is, you know, for somebody of like his caliber, is kind of surprising. And like, I think Jason Statham legitimately might be funny.
He is. Yeah.
Like he has got good comedic timing, which is impressive, which really works in a bunch of those Guy Ritchie movies.
Mhm.
So
And he's so dry. That's what helps him
Yeah.
too. Is he's so fucking dry. But like he was in Ghosts of Mars. Does that? I
Mhm.
love that movie, but it's campy as hell. But I love it.
That's
like
a bad movie, but
bad.
but it's
Terrible.
it's bad in the good ways.
he dies. I think he gets his head cut off. But I
Yeah.
think I like the Transporter so much is because like when I saw the Transporter, I was like, this guy is gonna do this for the next 30 years, and I'm okay with it because
well, like, look, he's done it
makes
for
it look great.
25, so he's
Yeah.
almost there.
Yeah.
he makes it look
Uh,
great and beautiful.
Chris, what is your favorite?
Well, I don't know if
Jason
we're
Statham.
if we've made a hard rule against it from the sounds of it, but Snatch is my favorite movie that has that a Jason Statham
Listen,
movie.
there are no rules.
Snatch is
This is your
fantastic.
answer. Snatch is a great fucking
Yes,
movie.
Yeah, Snatch is great. I love Snatch. I
Good
think
Brad
that
Pitt in that movie.
every
goddamn.
every time I see that film, I wonder why I don't watch it more because
Fucking Python.
it's legitimately funny. It's got great action in it. It's just a good movie. I like that one
Okay.
a lot. But like if I'm gonna pick like my campy Jason Statham, action movie, it's gonna be what isn't it called War? Or
Yeah, with Jet Li. Yeah.
yeah, that's a cool ass movie with him in it, and like every action scene in that movie works.
Yep.
It's over the top at times, and it's like the best ways. Like I love that film. An original Transporter to this day. I watched that movie a couple
Still
of years
holds up, man.
back.
Still
Like I
holds
don't know when you guys have seen that movie last, man. That movie's still cool as hell today.
It is.
Yeah.
The-
It's
The
been a minute.
music in it is top tier.
Like-
Like when he starts beating
so-
ass.
I want you to understand how important Transporter is to me
Okay.
as a young man. I was 20 years old when that came out.
Okay.
Like, very formative, and I was just like, this shit rules so hard.
And you were like, maybe I would look good bald.
Yeah, well, and covered in oil, fighting guys
Oh,
with
God, 100%.
bicycle pedals stuck to my feet. Yeah, exactly.
Well, so
And now
I
I'm
want
in
to.
my mid 40s and have a ponytail. So
Yeah,
listen, things don't always work out. I'm just dreams die, kids.
there are
That's what I'm
other-
saying.
I'm oddly into the first Death Race film too. Like that's a lot
Death
of
Race is
fun.
I think Death Race is a fun movie.
It's
Yeah.
just
And
twisted
fun is
metal,
like
but-
brutal murder, but
yeah, it's just fun. But like, I'm a big fan of the Cranks because from a creative writing point of view, I liked how they always kept him going because they had to find ways like Red Bull and having sex with Amy Smart, like ways to keep
Mhm.
the adrenaline pumping. Like they got creative with some of those, so I appreciate that.
Yep.
And we can't forget like the Mechanic movies. I think are very underestimated.
Mechanic with was it Ben Foster? That movie's great fucking
Mechanic
movie.
and Mechanic Resurrection several years later did it.
I don't think
yeah,
I've ever
we-
seen
I
Resurrection.
don't think I didn't.
That would come out theaters and it goes straight to home
No,
video.
no,
you
no,
know?
that was
theater?
theatrical. I thought I saw that in theater as well. But and
Um,
like the Meg is cool too, and so is the Meg 2. Like they're fun movies. They're summer
the first
blockbusters.
Meg is listen. The
Yeah.
second one is it is what it is. But the first one is like it's legitimately funny,
Yeah.
I
and
agree.
it's because it's like it's a Jason Statham movie that involves like sharks, giant sharks, which
How's
it
Jason-
shouldn't make any sense, but kind of
Jason
does.
Statham
And
shouldn't be able to punch a shark.
but he certainly
we are.
does. Yeah.
I,
But I mean,
Well,
so
my-
that's the second part of the question is what do you guys consider the best Jason Statham movie? Because like, listen, Transporter's definitely up there.
Yeah.
My choice for that though is Wrath of Man, because I think Wrath of Man shows him like actually has a range of a character, like dealing with grief and going through stuff, and also still doing all the things that make Jason Statham
Yeah.
Jason Statham. like the story is that his son gets killed. Like he's a high level mobster. His son gets killed. Like innocent bystander, right? Gets caught up in an armed robbery, and this he just goes nuclear on these guys and ends up shooting up an entire armored car depot because of it.
It's a crazy movie.
It's wild gunfight at the end. Like, good God, is it a great gunfight at the end? But like, it checks every box. Like, it's a little bit funny. It's dark. It's definitely a lot of murder if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So
it even wins the award of best movies where Josh Hartnett's character is named Boy Sweat. Yeah,
it's true.
It's true.
He
was very wasted in that film.
There's not a lot of those movies that qualify, but it's the winner.
What about you, Grayson?
It'd be Wrath of Man or Homefront. I'm a big fan of Homefront. I was going to say it earlier. Like, I like that movie a lot too. But it's like you have to. This is where the nuance comes in, because I don't give a shit about scores when it comes to these movies. It's one that you think's got the most heart or the most reason for him to be there. And like the reason I like this movie we're going to talk about today, Working Man, is because it taps into that military brotherhood, which I find so attractive in my movies. But I think I'm going to have to go with Wrath of Man, or I think Wrath of Man's probably if you're going by pure numbers, probably the best one, but that wouldn't be my answer. That would not be on like my top 5 favorite Jason Statham movies. Okay. So I just want to say that. But
gotcha,
Chris.
So mine's a weird one, and I just want you guys to hear me out for like my explanation on it. It's Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay,
it's Hobbs and Shaw.
It's a fine movie.
And if we're saying the best Jason Statham movie, like which one his, like, not our favorite but his best, they literally made a movie because of him and one other person's character was so iconic. And like it's hard to like discount a movie where like what was supposed to be a side character or a one-shot villain kind of deal gets its own standalone film because of how much people like the character and how good it is. And it's so high budget that it adds another layer of because Jason Statham isn't in the biggest budget stuff usually. It's a lot of smaller budget action stuff where like he got to play with all the toys and stuff too in that. So I think that's probably his best movie that he's in and stuff. Again, it's a character that only he gets to pull off and he pulls it off well, and it's a fun ride for what it's worth. Film's not the best, whatever. You know what I mean?
The plot is fucking wild.
Plot and story isn't very riveting.
Is that the movie where the Rock is holding on to the helicopter in a chain? Okay,
a chain and a helicopter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not too many of those movies, but it's in my mind.
Also, the one good thing that Hobbs and Shaw did for the betterment of everyone is really brought Vanessa Kirby to the forefront. And thank you.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. Yep. Good work.
Well stated.
Honest work.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good choice, Chris. It's an underrated. Okay, hilarious. That's an underrated choice, though. I don't think of it as that, but I do remember. I haven't watched that. God, it's been years, but I don't remember that as being like a storytelling dynamo. But maybe it was.
Listen,
well, look, you get Jason Statham, Idris Elba, and The Rock.
Okay, and Vanessa Kirby.
And Vanessa Kirby. Idris Elba refers to himself as Black Superman as he beats the shit out of both of them. So, hell yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But again, that's where the nuance comes in, because that action is just, I don't want to call it guy action, but it is.
Here's the thing, it is, though. It's just over the top, big budget action. And that's. Jason Statham can be these like single, like lone wolf roles, and he can be the guy that is part of that. So it's all there.
He plays those characters, especially when I remember thinking in Fast 7. I think it was 7 when he's holding that massive wrench or crowbar. Is that Vin Diesel? One of them has this oversized for no reason wrench that doesn't have any reason to exist. Might have been him, but Deckard Shaw, and it's just these people play superheroes without playing superheroes, and it's interesting to me because like the rules of the universe kind of just exist and they change to accommodate what the script needs them to do. I mean, Hobbs and Shaw is a perfect example of that.
The interaction he has with Vin Diesel in Fast 7 where they crash, or is it 6, where he crashes their car head onto each other, and he's like, that's like fighting with weighted gloves. He's like, what made you think this is a fair fight? Yep. He's like, this isn't a world you belong in. He's like, this isn't fair. I'm going to kill you.
Yep.
I always dug that line. He's like, this isn't a fair fight. It's not supposed to be.
All right, well, gentlemen, we've talked about some Jason Statham movies. Now at the 1 minute, at the 1 hour, 4 minute, 30-second mark, let's talk about the movie of the week.
Sure.
A Working Man. I think we've done it a decent intro, but
Yeah,
at
this is
this
Jason
point,
Statham movie, right?
Yeah.
at this point, you know what you're getting. You don't go to a Jason Statham movie expecting a romance.
Expecting Michael Pena to make an appearance for whatever
Hey,
reason.
listen.
Well, he's
Shout out to Pena.
He's David Ayer's boy, so
Yeah.
Pena's been
okay.
this is like his fourth movie he's been in with David Ayer. So
Just there.
look, I appreciate
fine.
that. If you have a director who likes to cast you, look, those paychecks cast the same
Right.
as any other paycheck.
Well, listen, I mean, for what it's worth in his role, he does a good job. You know what I mean?
Just sitting there drinking tequila.
Yeah, fucking
That's-
wallowing
Oh,
in some
look,
misery.
given- Given what that guy goes through, I 100%
Exactly.
don't fault him for that.
Oh yeah.
My daughter's been missing for a week. I'm sitting around family dinner.
No, he's sitting upstairs drinking tequila and haven't
Yeah.
showered in days. All right.
That's
What do you
just a
think the
Tuesday.
tomato meter is this for this?
Oh, I
movie?
bet it's low.
Oh, it's so critic meter.
No,
gonna be like
hold on. Critically or
Critically.
audience wise?
No,
Critically?
critically first.
40.
52. And you know what the audience score is? Good for you,
77.
audience. Chris?
We're gonna go with 88.
90.
What
90.
the fuck? No.
I'm
I mean,
really
like,
happy
hey,
about that. I
sure.
love that.
Jason Statham.
Hats off,
Hell yeah,
buddy.
brother.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
And so the Metacritic is sitting at a 55. That's
Exactly.
probably,
Like,
yeah.
look, perfect Metacritic score for this movie. Perfect.
I think that's
Because,
probably
like,
where
look, if
it's.
it would have said 45, I also still would have said
Exactly.
perfect. It's still fine.
Yeah, this one's got a range of acceptability
Yeah.
on it, right? You
Hey,
know what I
listen,
mean?
like, I think 45 to 55 is like the perfect range for that. Because you'd be like, if it got a dead on 50, I'd be like, yeah, of course it did.
I
All right.
understand completely.
Yeah.
Small cast: Jason Statham, David Harbour, Michael Pena, Jason Fleming, who I haven't seen in a while, and Ariana Rivas as the character who gets kidnapped, Jenny. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, guys. First impressions when the movie was when the credits roll. What do you think?
So can I do to make the joke?
Yeah,
When
absolutely.
this movie was over, it's exactly like when Jason Statham movie ended, because it's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't surprised by anything in this movie, and I don't listen. That's not a bad thing.
Mm.
It's not necessarily a good thing, but I won't hold it against it here. It's like this movie does exactly what you expect it to do, except with this movie. And I want to be honest with you. Like, I don't think this is the best Jason Statham movie we've seen in a while.
Okay.
Because this movie's kind of fucking all over the place, but none of it's exactly like watching this movie. Everything turns out exactly how you think it's going to turn out. So it's a Jason Statham movie.
Chris?
First impressions when it was over. It was. I was relieved when it ended because it does run a bit long, but it was like, yep, all right. It's just another one for the books for Statham is basically the way I felt when it ended. You know, which is fine. You know, I wasn't expecting a masterpiece. I didn't like it as much as Beekeeper, which is what I was hoping to like it as much as.
Which is fair because I don't think it's as good as Beekeeper.
No, but you know, it was good. It was good enough. It is what it is on this one. So
Grayson,
I was pleasantly surprised. I'm a big fan of some of the stuff that was going on in this. I think this movie, without the military camaraderie, without the David Harbour connection, without some of that stuff, this movie would have been a lot worse. But I think it's kind of the evolution of the Statham film is like they need something in it other than just him whipping ass to keep it going. And for me, that's what kind of made me keep watching. There was a time, and this goes completely against the film. I was like, is this movie still going on?
Yep.
Like, I looked at my watch and like, we're going on 2 hours. So like, that was even before the final act had started. So like, by the time that shootout happens, look, sorry for the spoiler, it's a Jason Statham movie. If you don't know the shootout
there's a
coming,
shootout at the end.
if you don't know the shootout coming, then you've just done movies wrong. But
listen, when one of the bad guy characters, who's a cartoon of a bad guy character, shows up with an M60 and shoots up a nightclub, you're going to have a shootout at some point.
Hold on. The secret nightclub in the woods.
Yeah.
No.
Before that, though.
Yeah, Chris means the nightclub where he just shoots at the ceiling.
Well, so the one thing I want to bring up, and we have to do something before I dig into. So I'm sorry. Are we going to thumbs up or thumbs down?
We should.
Chris,
we should.
You should.
All right, I'll count us in. I'll count us in, guys. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, I get to be the dissenter.
Ooh,
that's good.
Okay.
Because like
I thought I was going to be.
I'm not going to beat this movie up because like look, deep down it is what it is, and like I don't want to be like, oh, Jason Statham blah blah blah.
He's going off a cliff.
It's exactly what you think this movie is. Except for like at points in this movie, like there are 3 separate storylines going on that don't really intersect with each other, except that this is a Jason Statham movie.
Yep.
Like at one point, he's trying to infiltrate this like gang by buying bulk methamphetamine.
Yep.
Why?
As one does. As one
Let
does.
me give you money to fuel.
Throw it in the fucking river. Yep. Also, don't do that. Okay, don't do that.
Yeah.
But like, I thought after the second time he bought, 4 pounds of drugs, that he flushes it down a toilet.
Yep.
Don't do that either. What was the point? Why did that happen?
Because he was trying to get himself close to the epicenter of all of these things. But I mean, I don't think that that's the route that had to be taken. I think that that's the one that the movie path sent him on, and whatever. Yeah. Like there's plenty of ways to get there in this movie, and you don't have to go down that road. But it creates all these weird relationships as the movie goes on. And again, I gave this my approval because in the end, you're getting exactly what you pay for out of this movie. Like, I think that's what it comes down to. Like, if this was any other actor in like some weird, like, they don't really do an action move every now and then thing, I think I'd be a little harder on it in that regard. But like, if you're a Jason Statham fan, you're gonna love this movie.
Sure.
You're gonna walk and be like, he's punching another guy. Like, like you're gonna be excited about those moments, and you get plenty of them in this. Well, but like,
go ahead. Sorry.
I'll wrap up the thought. It's like what the things you're highlighting, Roger, are, even though it's a Statham film, like they are problems in the movie because it adds unnecessary layers.
It adds nothing.
It adds more complexity to a movie that can't handle being complex. Right. Go to Grayson.
Chris, you got something? What's up?
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree with what you're saying, Chris. I think so much. I was even wondering because after he buys we're getting ahead of ourselves, but after he buys that first thing of drugs, and then he stops in the bridge and throws it out, I'm like, okay, so what was that for? I guess it was just to make the necessary connections. But instead of take the drug, which he's a father, he'd want to take it. So floating it down a river, all that does is leave for someone to find it. You take it out of circulation.
It leaches into the groundwater.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So we're all drinking meth water. Fine.
Either way, it's bad.
Well, it just doesn't. This movie wastes. I mean, I'm serious when I say it's about 20 minutes too long. I'm serious. That might even be generous. It might even be 25 or 30 minutes too long.
These movies should have a hard cap at 100 minutes.
I agree.
That's it.
But also, it's
not 105.
Where I think, especially you, Roger, being a girl dad, is like I'm surprised that didn't resonate more with you. That story beat of the young
I'll
girl.
talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning though, so we can get going into this. So like the short version of this story is like he's former military. He's living a good life now. He's a construction foreman or general contract. I guess I don't know his official title.
Foreman. I think foreman is how
he's hooked up with like a large scale construction company that has kind of accepted him as who he is. He's tight with the family. His crew fucking loves him. Like he's the guy you want to work for, which I could see that, right? Like, yeah, I get that. And then things kind of go sideways when like the 18, 19-year-old daughter goes out and gets got, like she gets kidnapped.
She gets taken.
I mean, taken. She begins to be human trafficked, right? And then like, so they hire him to do it. He's reluctant. They decide to do it after he goes and meets his former army buddy, who is blinded. Then you meet his daughter. And I guess I'm just sort of ripping off some like one-offs piece, but like we meet the daughter and the grandfather because like his wife committed suicide, which is a weird side piece that I don't understand.
Which they didn't expound upon it enough to make it a part of the movie, but they
made sure it's a part of the movie. Yeah. Grandpap hates him, which okay, sure, I kind of get that. Grandpap's a fucking weirdo.
It apparently has all the money in the world. That's.
Like, I get the idea that he's a plastic surgeon or something, right?
Yeah,
And apparently they're weird and eccentric because this dude's definitely weird and eccentric, but whatever. And then, but like, you have all that kind of background stuff going on with like his daughter and like the grandpap hates me and he's got primary custody. And like, that's only convenient one time or two times in this movie, right? One, when he goes to pick her up, and like for whatever reason, he's having a party on his visitation day, which is what, for 3 hours?
Some weird Dr. Seuss party too.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So yeah, he's dressed like a fucking Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
Or something.
There's llamas walking around and shit.
Yeah, crazy, wild party, I'm sure. But like, so like you kind of brush it off the first time, and then eventually like that dude ends up getting beaten up, and like they burn his house down for whatever reason, and gets saved. Which wouldn't it just been better to let him die? Which is something the little kid tells to him, which is fucking hilarious to me. It's like all this other stuff runs concurrent to like this girl is getting trafficked. Like I'll ask the dumb question. I know I ask this question a lot on the show, but this is something that in this movie I think is important. Is from the time she gets taken, how long, how far, how many days pass? Because it's a bunch.
It's a lot, right? Like
I think like a week, maybe.
I think it's more. I think it's like 2. Like I think it's like
2.
multiple weeks.
Well, they don't even start until the weekend's over.
Right?
She goes out on Friday, and then it's Monday.
Monday we find out she's missing.
Yeah, when he finds out.
Well, and then so like, and then it's another day before he tells them he'll even go.
Yep.
Okay. Then at least 6 more days pass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Throughout night and day changes in this movie.
Yeah.
And so like we're back all the way to like the next Wednesday before we're finally starting to like dig into where she actually is. It's like 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, it's a long time.
I don't think the passage of time really matters in a movie like this, though. I mean, should it?
I mean, like,
let me
look,
ask you, should you hold that against the movie, though? Let me ask you.
The only reason I do that, okay, is because like this movie is about a kidnapping, okay? Most people, now listen, I understand this is a movie, but when you get kidnapped, if you're not found in like the first 48 hours,
you're not going to be found. Yeah,
you're never found.
Yeah.
Like that's for real.
Yep.
So that's just things like
but you don't got Jason Statham tracking you down.
I mean, like, look, at some point, Jason Statham isn't even tracking her down. He's just buying meth.
At some point,
Jesus.
I mean, look, Roger is right, and that's where the movie gets lost is when he gets in the draw, like because he is trying to make the necessary connections, and like
so, look, how he ends up meeting that guy to make that connection, I totally understand is relevant. But then you go down this weird sidebar path where he keeps buying drugs to like meet other people, and that's another thing I have a fucking problem with, is because like he buys 1 round of drugs. Okay, sure, cool, whatever. The next day he calls them up and was like, "Hey, you want more drugs? Come meet my boss."
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, he wanted a suitcase this time.
Yeah.
Suitcase
full of drugs.
But that's the whole thing. Is I mean, this movie actually is much simpler than that. You keep killing your way up.
It took me like 6 months in high school to find a good weed guy.
God, Jesus.
Doesn't matter now. It's legal in the state that I live in. Thank you.
True.
It wasn't then. It wasn't. It's like you can't just confess to a murder when it was some. You know what I mean? But
I mean, murder's different than.
No one cares that I bought weed in 2000. I assure you of this.
Also, the 2 like weird kind of clown villains who cart this girl from place to place. They're also like
2.
They're so comically stupid that
she has a forehead tattoo of like teeth.
But
isn't it like a mouth on her forehead?
I have a legitimate question.
Go ahead.
Hold on, because we're talking about the clown duo.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I was going to finish my thought real quick. Is the only reason the script is able to move on is because they're too dumb to do what they're supposed to do.
True.
You know what I mean? So that's just what I want to say.
It's only by dumb luck that they don't kill her.
Exactly.
That there's a second round of her wanting to to be used. So there's a point in this movie where I don't know if makeup messed up or if the script got confused or someone sat in. The girl who's like one of the part of the duo that kidnaps her, has that weird chin.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's not even what she's also there's the girl that's in the restaurant when the first time he wants to go buy drugs has that chin tattoo
I didn't know
for
that.
a minute. And it's like, and I got so confused, like, wait, isn't this why is she here?
Pistol.
And then
pistol we recognize.
She has the pistol too, but like it's like at no point are these the same people. No. Like these are different characters played by I think the same actress, which they didn't even change the makeup for. Like
no, I think it's the same person. I don't know.
Why
I think
is she there and not trafficking this girl then? Like she's not a part of that gang.
But here's the thing though. So
Because that's the Mad Max biker gang.
Yeah, so like she's definitely because like she's watching the security system, right?
Yeah.
God, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess I never
this
paid that much
character is like
attention
in
to
like
that.
some weird places all of a sudden, and she's just there.
So this movie takes place in Chicago, the Chicago area,
Yeah.
because they also go to Joliet, which is where the
Yeah, he said, and he
the
says
biker
something
gang
specific
is.
like that's the Chicago price.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of backwoods near Chicago, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
Like, look, maybe
course.
there is. I'm not from there, so I don't know. But like, seemed a little,
yeah.
like, I don't know.
Mhm.
Didn't seem like it fit the
It's
motif,
odd. Yeah.
right?
There's a lot of convenience in this movie, which fine.
Well,
it is what it is.
You know, I made the joke earlier about plot armor. I think that was to you.
Yeah.
Because like, look, it's not even the fact that our boy, who at one point refers to himself as Bill Coates.
Bill Coates.
Which is the fucking worst made up name I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Yeah, but he's got a fake ID. And it says William on it.
Yeah, it's a William.
He called him William, and I died.
So not only does he never even get shot one time, okay,
He takes
which,
0 damage. You're right.
well, which is even by Jason Statham movie standards, like he takes more damage than
Yeah.
he usually takes some damage. Like these are some of the worst henchmen like we've seen since fucking Stormtroopers, bro.
Absolutely.
Like they can't do shit.
They might lose the Stormtroopers.
Maybe it'd be tight.
Well,
The
because
boss
like
level characters did nothing but miss too.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when he's on the bike, when they're shooting, you see the bullets bouncing off the back of his bike over and over again.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I get it, and I get kind of that's again where some of the nuance comes in. Is you're making a Jason Statham film, you have to show gun bullets.
Miss though, like you made the point to make sure it pings off.
Yeah, but like you don't want him to hit him, so you're just adding a little tension. Like I understand there's like gray area of like reality versus like crafting of a movie scene. So there's I just watched Indiana Jones Temple of Doom last night. Like
Sure.
the plot armor times a million Indy had
of
in that
course.
one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean it's not changed in 4 decades. It's just
but
you're just trying to create tension in the scene. That's all that is. I think.
True.
But I agree with you. I think it's ridiculous. 100%.
Yeah, but and then this movie eventually, like in the third act of this movie, evolves into like some weird version of like redneck Splinter Cell, right? Like he's fucking Sam Fishered up to this place.
Metal Gear Farmer.
Yeah. Sure, perfect, exactly. And just like sneaking around, like killing all these people with a fucking M1 Garand, which is like the loudest gun in the history of the world, with a multi-step level scope.
Oh yeah, I do like that. That scope goes hard on that gun.
Which is
when he folds his phone down and
Bluetooth.
Oh yeah.
That's what. Listen,
he called it bullet tooth.
Is that what he called it?
Did he call it bullet tooth?
He said bullet tooth.
Oh my goodness.
But like, look,
she's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Bullet tooth,"
and he shoots him right in the fucking face. Which I mean, like, look, it's funny, but it's so dumb.
Oh my god.
So dumb.
Let's just back up here for 1 second. What I think makes this movie kind of tolerable from my point of view is the very kind of emotional instrumental score that kicks up in the beginning, and then when you have scenes such as when he goes to the house right before he goes to Dave Harbour to get his blessing, even though Dave Harbour he's like, you didn't come here for a blessing, you came here for weapons and to do what you need to do, and I appreciate that. But like that scene when he's up with Michael Pena up in the room, and that's a very touching scene between two men.
Sure.
One that's just lost everything in his life, and one that says, I can do this for you. I'm gonna get her back. I need some money. It's stuff like that makes the plot armor tolerable for me. It makes it no one in the world shooting a gun can hit anything resembling Jason Statham's character in this film. I get that. I mean, it's almost like Uncharted Nathan Drake. Like, he just doesn't matter. It's just nothing. You never die, and that's the point.
No,
it's just. But I think that's part of the Jason Statham formula. I would imagine that's part of the Fast and Furious formula by now. It just stuff happens, and you're just, he's being shot at in this scene. That's the big takeaway.
Yeah, it's just part of the story, I guess. I don't know.
But the Dave Harbour character, I think, is part of the anchor of this film too, with the daughter. Which I'm surprised that the daughter didn't also didn't get snatched or taken by. I was expecting that.
That's the other thing too, right? So like the daughter seems like she should be some sort of like crux, or even like a like an emotional grounding point where
Maybe.
Well, that's really all she is here, right?
Well, I thought Granddad was gonna be killed, and then the daughter was gonna be gone. Like I thought that's what they were
Which
setting up.
plays out correctly in regular storytelling mode, right?
That was the
Not
expectation.
here. For whatever reason, they don't go get the girl. They just tie him up and burn his house down.
Her face comes up on that when they're like, we found him, and then like the next scene is the house burning down.
Mm-hmm.
The 6 pictures that show up on that computer screen. One of them is his daughter.
Yeah.
So like, why didn't they go get her? I don't know. It's just,
I know it's tough to go take kid from school though.
It is.
Like, look, you ever try to get your kid, like your own kid, from school? It's a pain in the ass.
It is. Like, and rightfully so.
Sure, look, I get it. And necessary precaution, still not fun.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's there's a lot in this movie that is like that side, but there's a lot of the other half too, which is like the Jason Statham special, right? Where like, it's to me, it's not as. It's much easier to talk about the things that are kind of like grinding my gears kind of deal, because the good stuff is the stuff you expect from a movie with Jason Statham in, right? Like, of course, there are dudes getting punched by Jason Statham. There's dudes getting shot by Jason Statham.
Their arms broke, their hands broke.
Yeah, he's a martial arts badass.
Like at one point, he's hitting somebody with a skull.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's a wizard. And he's a wizard with a knife and a
so,
gun.
like, look, one thing Jason Statham does do is good knife work.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this in multiple movies.
Early on, the very first action scene we get, which is like 3.5 minutes into the movie at the construction site, he just has a shotgun line and some pipe.
Well, yeah.
Like, he didn't take that shotgun.
Have you ever been to a construction site, sir?
That's
how it is.
I'm gonna say I haven't, but I have. But whatever. But like, he's just got a shotgun line.
I think it's code. You have to have a gun every so many.
He doesn't know that young man's gonna get his ass beat by that gang guy there. How many guns does he have lying around just in case?
Like, look, I assume he has them stored every.
He has to, right?
Like, yeah. At any given moment, everything could go to shit.
Like in this movie, if that scene would have went differently, where he pulls out the shotgun, blasts one, has to run cover, go somewhere else, and he pulls another gun out from somewhere, I'm like, yep, no, that makes complete sense.
No, like he reaches into like a cinder block and pulls out a pistol.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
perfect.
Perfect. Well, and then the best part,
he did throw a bucket of nails at people.
The best part would have been is after he pulls the second handgun out of the cinder block and shoots somebody. Later on, in like right after the scene's over, like somewhere else, unbeknownst to our characters or their characters, a construction worker like reaches in and finds a gun, and another guy's like, "Don't touch that." That's like
that's the bosses.
Yeah, that's bosses. And it's like they know they're everywhere.
Well, okay,
it's like the joke.
Let me ask you a question that kind of plays off of that, right?
Yeah.
So like, look, these guys roll up and just start beating the shit out of this guy, right?
Yeah.
Why? Do we know why?
We never find out.
But we never go back to it. It doesn't matter. But like, naturally, I have to be like, what if that dude deserved to get his ass kicked? Like, what if you find out some horrible story like that dude tried to kidnap some little girl or something and like these guys don't have to beat his ass?
Yeah, it's
like that's fine. Kill him.
That's one half. The other crux is whatever happened to Jorge. What happened to this guy?
Yeah, like he had to go home.
Yeah,
like a week passed. They got him. They fucking got him.
Whole different gang. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
because like he doesn't even. Old Levin Cade never goes back to work. No. Like he doesn't go back. Whole Bill Coates doesn't show up at the fucking foreman work. He doesn't do it.
Well,
Grayson,
there's a lot of logic holes here, but I don't. Again, I was going to say earlier when I go. So this week I had a Dave's Double from Wendy's. I paid my money. I got it. I got the fries. I got the drink. I know. Like I expected exactly what I got. That's what you were saying earlier, Chris. Is like when you go to I think that when people plop down their, whatever, 10, 50, $12 for this and they get a ticket and they watch it, it's exactly what they expect.
I got my Dave's Double from the state.
Yeah, sure. And I understand the plot armor and the plot holes. And I'm not sure.
Get your toppings right, though.
Yes, that's the thing. I asked for no pickle. Well, okay, pickles on this bitch.
I hope you understand that analogy, right? Because, look, did you get a Dave's Double? Yeah. Was it a perfectly suitable Dave's Double? Yeah, but they messed up, right?
Yeah.
I wanted extra, I wanted extra cheese on it. I didn't get that.
It was the one that was sitting in the heat lamps a
little
bit too long.
Yeah, like the bun's a little dry.
Yeah.
Still, listen, I still ate the shit out of it.
A little overcooked, but goddamn, I ate it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And like, look, all I did was slug down some extra, Cherry Coke Zero, and it was fine. Yeah. Like that's the point I made. Like, look, it's exactly what you think you're getting. We have definitely seen this better though. right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's the point
Oh,
I'm
God,
trying
yeah.
to make here.
Yeah, you guys, we've all already named better versions
Well,
of
it's
this.
like legitimately.
Well, Beekeeper.
Yeah, the movie directly preceding which is like they really wanted to tell you like, hey,
Yeah, like,
the
same
team that made Beekeeper is definitely involved in this movie. And also, did you see like Stallone is all over this?
Yeah. Yep.
Like it's his production company.
Yeah.
Balboa
He's the
Productions. Yeah.
he's the main EP1. Like
Mhm.
he's got the first executive producer credit on it, and all that. So I thought that was interesting.
I mean, this
first
isn't
time I
that much
remember
different.
seeing that.
This isn't that much different than like Rambo or Final Blood. You know,
No,
I
and
mean, it really isn't that much different.
and it's
Conceptually, it's not. But and I look,
honestly,
I appreciate that Stallone also knows how to write those stories and how to make them fun. Because again, you don't go into a movie like this expecting Best Picture nomination.
We talked about Beekeeper being the movie before this. Was Beekeeper the movie before this for him,
Yes.
or was Expendables 4?
No, it was
That was
Beekeeper.
Beekeeper.
Beekeeper was like months ago.
Expendables was
Yeah.
No, it was like a year and a
I'll
half
check.
ago.
I still have his stuff open.
Like
No,
I think
no,
it
it
was
was
like January of 23,
Beekeeper-
and I think
Beekeeper was
Expendables
definitely
4 was
no. Nope.
summer of
No way.
23.
Beekeeper Expendables.
Yeah.
24, 23.
Okay, so I have them in reverse
Yeah,
order.
yeah.
Okay, no problem.
But they're both David Ayer.
Sure, which I mean
True.
that's fine. That's because I was just like, here's the thing: Expendables 4 is terrible. Like it's an awful movie, and like he doesn't get credit for being Jason Statham in that movie.
No.
But the juice was gone, man. Whatever made
Yeah,
Expendables special. It was to me. It was gone after the first one, and then Mel Gibson kind of brought it back for the third one. The second one did some interesting stuff by calling the villain Villain. I mean, like, come on, campy is as campy does. But yeah, the juice had gone. But like in these movies, I don't like. So the thing in Beekeeper is like people like it's super violent. He's killing people. He's killing people that scam people. Like who cares? It's like who cares if your main character's killing Nazis? They're Nazis. Who cares? It's like that syndrome of like you're never going to find someone sympathetic to that other cause. Yeah. Like you're never going to find people who are sympathetic to the Russian mobster cause of this film. It's like I don't care how many he kills. Good, there's one less in the world. All they do is cause destruction.
Also, something I think is hilarious in this movie because I think now like that's always going to be like for a while like the when in doubt Nazi out. Now it's going to be when in doubt Russian monster.
Yeah.
Russian.
I also I love
no one gives a shit. Fuck them.
I love the pool scene with Jason Fleming because he like in all fairness, Levin did give him every opportunity to not drown. True. You know what I mean? He's like, look, you raise your voice, I'm going to kick you in. You give me answers I don't like, I'm going to kill you. And the guy raised his voice and gave him bullshit answers. So like, look, he had a shot. He had a shot to not die.
Hey,
but
look, also like all the kids at home to know, like if you need an introduction to waterboarding, this movie definitely has.
There's waterboarding in this film, guys. Like holy shit!
Like a good run at it. So like.
And an explanation of how it works and why it works.
How it works and how it fucks with your head and heart and your adrenaline. Yeah, I was just like, whoa.
God damn. Of all the things we put in this movie, this one makes it.
Yep.
Got it.
I also love because it's like you don't see them, they're not there, but like how they do those, I think it's that like they put like strings on the actors and like because bullets are really that powerful to make them tumble?
Anytime I get to see somebody get shot by a bullet and fly back 18 feet,
I
know I'm watching it.
How about the one where the guy's running forward towards him and he shoots him and he like spins and flips over?
God, yeah,
and I was just like, I looked at my wife and I was like, that was violent.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, like that man just got shot in the face.
Yep.
But like, whoa.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah, but again, like, who cares? It's fun.
David Harbour's got them good guns and them good bullets. You know what I'm saying? Also, Grayson, question to you: how'd you like Roger being in this movie? Because that's all I thought every time I saw
Dave. Oh, Gunny.
Gunny.
Yeah.
It's like,
again, I like that character.
I wish I was as tall as David Harbour.
I mean,
by the way,
fair, yeah.
Like that was the attempt to ground this movie into like a more like give it more seriousness. It's like give him the fact that he couldn't because that was what he was trying to do. Is he saved him, but he didn't save his eyes. Now he's finding redemption and saving this. He can save this girl, and he's going to save this girl. So my question. So another one of my things to you, Roger, is like he promises. The dad, Michael Pena's character, he promises Harbour he's going to get her, but like you said, there could be as much as like 2 or 3 weeks to go by. There's a good chance, and I mean the fact that the plot armor for the girl is these two idiots don't kill her and just like she should have been dead 12 times before Statham finds her.
Yeah.
And like, again, it's plot armor. It's like it's plot convenience that she's not dead, and the fact that she's allowed to kick the window out of that car and they would have shot her 12 times. It just
Like, if you'd have kicked the window out of the car and caused us to crash, as soon as I found you, I'm just at least shooting you in the leg or something.
Yeah.
Because like you have deeply inconvenienced me.
Yeah, but then they got to take her to the hospital.
No, you
or some
don't.
shit. I mean, they're going.
What makes you think they had to go to the hospital?
They shoot her in
Brother,
the legs,
it's the
she's gonna
Russian
die.
mafia. You know they got
See,
doctors.
they're not Russian mafia. They're
wannabe Russian mafia. Yeah.
Semi-connected though.
yeah.
They listen. I bet you they could get a doctor.
Maybe. Okay.
You know
Okay.
what?
So
You know what really pissed me off in this movie, I will say, is when that girl was running through the woods and the cop car. I was like,
Yeah.
"Are you
That was my
fucking
next question.
serious?"
So me
Are
and
you
Chris
fucking
talked
Yeah.
about that before we started the episode, before you popped in, and like that's so fucking infuriating that we
Yeah.
have
It
that same gag like 3 times.
it happens 3 times
Yeah.
in the same movie. The same
God.
thing.
The first time
Yeah, it was-
Statham's like, you guys are on the payroll too, and then he gets hit with the butt of the shotgun, and
Yeah.
that's and then what? Like I love what happens to him because fuck dirty cops, man. Like come
Well, it's
on.
exactly what. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
like when they roll up, like they have, they got to die.
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah, you got to tie up all the loose ends on it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It's
But
like that. Just to do that 3 times in the same movie is
Yeah.
like, come
Well, like,
pull that punch.
my point was like if you want to like have an excuse not to go to the cops at certain point because that's what happens, like the grandfather says, it's time to get the cops involved. He's like they're in on it too. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wouldn't do a Statham accent.
Keep doing it.
No,
I liked it so much.
Anyway,
No, bring it
like
back.
he says that they're in
Do
on it,
it.
and so like, that's like the whole excuse to not go to the cops, right? Is to show that they're also like
Right,
bad guys.
right.
However, you could you didn't have to the way it's done is so again it's like a repeat 3 times in the movie. The first time it happens to Statham, it didn't have to. He like that could have just been any car that comes out and makes him wreck and then he's caught, right? It doesn't have to be cops.
Nope.
But it is.
Yeah.
So here we are. And then later on it happens again to her running through the woods. It's like, Jesus Christ, here we go.
Same cops driving through the same woods.
Yeah, right.
Like don't you have
I
like
think
real
they're
cop
different
work to do?
woods.
Like, have you guys been on the job on the same shift for like the last 52 hours? What are you
Are you
doing?
the only ones that patrol this area in Chicago? Like, come on.
Outside of Chicago.
Yeah. And
In the rural farmhouse just outside of Chicago.
isolated farmhouses even.
We're like
'Cause
all
there's so much
gangsters,
land
though,
to go
yeah.
around in Chicago.
Yeah,
suburbs.
So maybe it's like this now.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
talking.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah,
my work here is
Yeah,
done.
give it the old Roger, maybe.
Yeah.
It's still above the 50 mark. It's
Yeah.
still above the 50. So
Like
I mean,
55 instead of 50. Exactly.
Maybe 49 instead of
Maybe-
50. Yeah.
maybe what
49, sure, I wouldn't fight you on that.
Yeah.
maybe what boosts Beekeeper above is. I remember Beekeeper being like a solid like 95 minutes.
Beekeeper's a better runtime,
Yeah.
and Beekeeper is a more concentrated look on the story. Yes, we go from grandma's getting scammed to scamming Ring, right?
Yeah.
This goes way wider, and I think that's the problem. And there are too many villains in focus.
Yeah.
Different villains, different levels of villain, and like that's the problem. You have all these like these cartoonish villain characters sprinkled around a bunch of henchmen.
You even have the guy with like the old timey
Oh,
cigarette.
dude,
Yeah.
that was-
And did they sequel bay it with his like he yells as they drive off on the bike? Does he like remember he's like ah, and then we just cut away? Like is that sequel baying that he's not going to get
Well,
up the chase?
Listen, I promise you, when Working Man 2 comes out, I hope to God I don't have to see it. I'll.
Oh, hold up. I have an idea.
Oh, okay.
We call it the Working Men. We
No.
got a whole team.
The YMCA.
We got a whole team.
They
Gunny's running it, and he's running them out.
All right, that's actually kind of fun.
Tell me I'm wrong.
So, okay, so some
Tell
of the
me,
things-
tell me that doesn't at least make sense for a movie that would get made.
Well, I want to ask one question. I want to go over the last the final gunfight, the last sequence. I think 2 things that we missed in this film are because we make it.
Statham 10,000 times with bullets.
We make the movie goes to great length to show that the Jenny, the girl who gets kidnapped, that she is not useless. She's smart, and she even tells him in the beginning, "Hey, I can do some of that basic stuff. My grandfather, who was a paratrooper in the Second World War, he taught me how to do a lot of this stuff. Can you teach me more?"
Where did she get the nail from?
Oh, I don't know.
They
I don't
first
know
show her in
either.
the room. She's got a nail in her hand.
I know what
Fuck,
you're talking
she-
about. I mean,
All right,
look at
sorry,
that
go
place. Look at that place she's being kept. There's probably 20 nails in the floor. But we didn't get is her using some of that to her advantage, because the breaking out of the car and running in the woods, it wasn't that. It was not what she was talking about. So we didn't get any of that, number one. And also, I'm surprised after the fight in the weird biker bar where he was sitting on like the Game of Thrones style bike pipe thing.
Mad Max. It's more Mad Max than Game of Thrones.
Okay.
That's what you're saying.
Is
I
we
accept
didn't
that.
after he accepted him as an equal, and like they were both soldiers, and the guy was like, okay, you can talk now because I respect. I did not, now call me the guy who wants everything to work out well. I didn't expect that guy to fight him in the end. I thought he was going to help him over the soldiers' honors of rescuing a little girl. I swear to God, I thought they were going to join forces and kick some ass.
He even says it. He says, you know,
My
like,
fight's not with you.
My fight wasn't with you. It's like, I know. Finish it. And then gets stabbed. Gets stabbed in the chest, the neck. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Everyone is almost a caricature of what we think like Russian mobsters are, or big ass ex-soldiers, bikers are. Like they're almost all caricatures of what we think that they look like. I don't, what they actually are though is. But I'm not disappointed. I like the reverence for, laying the rifle down, and he's showing respect to the Harbor character who talks about the rifle earlier. I like stuff like that, even though I'm not quite sure it has any kind of significance at all in the story when you break it down. But I like stuff like that. To me, it bumps it up a little bit. But then, what Roger, before we started, when you get the wide shot looking down at the door they're walking out of, and she turns around and she's like, peace. I'm like, okay, that just undid every cool thing that happened in the last 30 seconds.
I mean, like, this movie has these points, but all right, that was kind of rad. And they're like, ooh. And I mean, like, I told Roger, when the biker gang shows up to the Farmhouse Blues party, one of them has a samurai helmet on.
Yeah, they did. One of them did have a samurai helmet.
What is happening? Like, who are these people in Chicago?
All bikers in Chicago wear samurai
helmets.
It's
a well-known fact, Chris.
Anybody's from Chicago, I need to verify.
The movie's wild, man.
It's almost like they had to when they were making this. They're like, okay, we need to give 18 to 30-year-old women a reason to laugh, and like that was definitely a dig at that, or like how the girls acted at the bar was a dig at that, and like
it's very much a stretch for you to imagine a lot of 18 to 34-year-old women watch this movie.
Yeah,
the ones that didn't go with a boyfriend or a romantic interest. And I'm not saying this to infuriate anyone, but like that demographic just is not a Jason Statham demographic.
My movie theater was packed, but not my showing room, but the theater itself, like the complex, because of Chosen. I couldn't find a place to park. I'd walk.
Wow, that's
the Chosen.
Did you go today?
No, I went on Friday.
Okay,
and it was packed, and not in my theater because the Chosen was everywhere. I don't think there was any 18 to 30-year-old women watching in my theater.
But there were 6 people in my theater.
There were like
30 or 35,
20, but like not an 18 to 30 year old woman demographic in sight. No. This was 50 plusers or bunch of dudes watching us.
Dudes watching dude things. Yeah. Doing dude stuff. Yeah. Go drink some beers, watch Jason Statham.
I'm surprised no one stuck in beers to watch this.
Well, Jason Statham does drink a nice ice cold beer at a bar, and like I was like, I could use that right now.
First off, that beer did not look cold.
No, it's prop beer, but it was supposed to be ice cold beer, so I just thought of it. Anyway, so final thoughts on A Working Man before we end the episode.
All right, I'll go first.
Yeah.
So, final thought. I mean, like, look, it's exactly what you think it is, except the story's somehow worse than some of these other Jason Statham movies. Yeah. Like that's all I got to say. Like, if you like Jason Statham and like his type of movies, you'll be fine here. Like, even for the fact that I could literally tear this movie to shreds.
Oh God. Yeah.
Like, I won't, because it doesn't matter. It's fine. Which is like, I feel bad being like it's just fine, but that's all that it is. It's Jason Statham movie. He does Jason Statham things, and he can't die. That's it. It's fine.
I agree.
Next.
Yep.
Chris, I'll go. I didn't hate it. It's as the pantheon that is the Jason Statham film repertoire exists. This is not going to be in the top 5 or 10, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I found myself, I had a stupid grin on my face when he was, John Wicking these dudes, which is with martial arts. I love it when they do that, especially when they make it look awesome and like ballet on screen. I like that kind of thing. I like the reverence by two war buddies connected by one being pulled out without the sight, but still being indebted to one. I like that. I like the score reflecting that. I like the reverence paid by the rifle in the end. In a movie that a lot of crazy stuff is happening, I like those nice points. I like the tender moment between him and Michael Pena in the beginning. I like those moments, and they seem to make a movie elevate for me. Maybe not for you guys, but I'm that guy who loves the emotions, so I understand that part of it. But yeah, I liked it for what it's worth. I'm not sure I would recommend this in his top 10, but I liked it. I got my Dave's double out of it. So
yeah. So this movie, to its credit, of all the things I can tear apart on it, is that this movie starts fast. You get a small action scene, a small taste, 3 minutes in, and then you got to wait for Jason Statham to change his mind over one night that he's not going to do this thing, that he's going to do it. And then this movie doesn't stop. I mean, it's from the get-go action, and it's the action you're looking for. If you found yourself lost and accidentally walked into a Jason Statham movie and sat down, you're not going to like this. Everybody else that pays for a ticket for this, you're going to have a good time with what you came to sign up for. There's nothing outside of expectations here.
So that family that bought tickets for Snow White walked right in.
Then walked in. You know what? The dad will be thankful. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
It's a better movie than Snow White.
Yeah, like they'd sit down, the movie would start playing, and the wife would go, "Shit, honey, we're in the wrong movie." And he'd go, "You know what?
I'm going to stay.
I'm going to stay right here. You guys go.
You take the kids.
I'll let you know if this is the wrong movie or not."
I'm not convinced this isn't Snow White.
I'll need to watch the whole thing before I can tell you if it's not Snow White.
Or I'll be right in. Don't wait for me though. Leave the popcorn. Get another bag. I'm
keeping this.
This movie is fine, and it's the definition of it's fine. Because if you show up to this thing not ready for what you're getting here, I don't know why you're even showing up to this movie anyway. Because there's other stuff out.
That's true. It is a very niche movie. Like you don't wander into one of these things. You know what it is. Yeah. It's doing well for itself. I forget the budget, but I know it wasn't very high. So
40 million budget. Yeah.
It's done 30 opening weekend, so it's doing okay for. I think it's going to well past that.
It's going to call its way to not losing money. I think.
And these movies do really well on streaming. I think too. Like they do exceptionally well. Yeah.
This thing already has already has sold its rights to a streamer.
You, my fucking dad's going to love this movie.
Oh, 100%. Shout out to Papa Stillion. You know what I'm saying? Like,
fucking love it.
He's just like, yeah.
Shout out to Papa Stillion. Is his name Greg?
No.
Okay. Shout out to all the Gregs, all the Zoe's, all the nurses out there. Shout out to all you guys and the Papa Stillions.
Great job.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you for joining me for this episode, and thank you, listener. If you're listening to us on a YouTube segment, please find the long episode and give us a listen. We are starting to break these up in segments. Stick them out there. So if you are listening to one of those, thank you. But let's find the episode and like and subscribe on YouTube and a podcast service.
Smash that like.
Smash it. Again, thank you very much for listening. This has been episode 23 of Post Credits Podcast, where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. Each episode posts every Tuesday morning on the podcast service of your choice of the following 6: Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Leave a review, rate, subscribe. Every little bit helps. And more importantly, thank you for listening. And if you're listening to us on YouTube watching, hit that subscribe button and like us. And again, we will be back next week with the Minecraft movie.
Stuff. We'll be back with stuff. What stuff? I don't know, but it'll be stuff.
It'll be Minecraft-ish stuff.
Matt Damon.